This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we're going to do a diagnostic on the MIELE dishwasher. This is the incognito model, and this is kind of what the display looks like right here. It's the G858 model. So here's the actual display. See all the buttons on the top. And to do this one, you start with the dishwasher off, so the power is not on. Open the door, and you're going to be pressing the power button so that it turns on, but at the same time you want to press buttons 2 and 3, and this will put you in what's called service mode 2. Here's the actual model number for this dishwasher. So the first part of getting the fault codes out is you got to put it in service mode 2, and that's done by pressing that 2 and 3 and the power at the same time. And you'll know that you're there, or that you've done it correctly, that it's successful, when you get some blinking of a couple of the red lights. You'd see the salt and the intake drain lights will blink at the same time. So that's actually just the first part, and then we have to put it into another mode to get the fault codes out. And the fault codes, we'll see them by certain lights will blink, and that can tell us, according to a chart, what problem the dishwasher is having. So now it's in the service mode 2. We see the intake drain and salt lights blinking, and the power light is on. We see that. You can see some other lights blinking here. Now we're going to press the blinking number 5. This is how we're going to start to get our fault codes to be displayed. So we press that one, and we see number 1 and number 2 blinking. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to press the blinking number 1 light. So now we're going to press the blinking number 1 light, and one of the program lights 1 through 5 would light up, indicating that you have a fault code stored. It could be F0 up to a F4. If none of the buttons light, then you might have a fault code F5 to F9, and to display those, you just press program button number 6 once. And then you'll get one of the buttons, 1 through 5, would light up, and that would indicate one of the fault codes, F5 through F9. And then I'm going to show you a little chart here that will show you, depending on which light lit up, it'll tell you which fault code it was. And then the fault code will tell you what kind of problem the dishwasher is having. So we had the number 1 button light up, and that indicates an F05, which means a water drainage failure or a heater level pressure switch failure. And they're pretty common. That can happen even to a dishwasher that's working well. Sometimes there'll be some obstruction in the drainage system, so the water can't get out, and it'll store a fault code. It doesn't really mean that anything's going wrong, But that just gives you an idea of how the fault codes can be taken from the machine. So we had that number 1, which indicates an F05. And here's some of the fault codes and what they mean. And they just give you a general idea of where to look for the problem. They're not super specific, but at least they steer you in the right direction. So F06, too few pulses at the flow meter at the start of water intake. And then you can delete the fault codes too. And these are just some parts from the manual. You can get this manual online. It's for the G600 through G800. And I think it's a PDF file. It's G600, G800 PDF, or technical information PDF. This just shows you how to get to the service mode 2, which we did in the video. And the manual is pretty neat. It shows you some things you can do. You can change some of the factory settings. You can access fault codes. You can delete fault codes and work on your dishwasher. So I hope this helped you. And please subscribe when you get a chance.